Hello, good morning, batch 13, and those people who will eventually watch this one. Today's broadcast will be pre recorded. Well, I'm now recording it, and you'll be able to view this a little bit later, about 30 minutes to 1 hour from now. So, this video will focus on some hard skills. I promised this last night, but I wasn't able to finish it really, and that's why I'm publishing it now. So again, what I promised you is that within the week we have to finish everything. So we only have two more two more sessions. So after this, so we have six and then the final chapter. So yeah, I hope you're already excited to finish this course. And as I told you several times, you can always come back to this playlist. I'm going to organize it in my channel in a playlist so that you can view it. I know that some of the things that are here may still be unclear to you as of now, because you're still students. But then later on, you will understand the things that I've been telling you, right? So, what is the difference between the soft skills or the 21st century skills that I've been teaching you in the past few days and these hard skills? So, those skills more lies more or refer more to again soft skills, or some of them are really attitudinal. Yes, some are not really based on attitude, but also on the way your internal makeup, is made, right? But these hard skills that I'm going to teach you here are not to be learned. You cannot learn it, overnight. You have to really spend time, um, learning it, and some of these skills even require you enrolling it in some program. Like, it will be clear to you later on, right? So without further ado, this is composed of 11 slides. These are the hard skills, and not necessarily hard in the sense that it's hard to master, right? But these are not your regular Joes. These are your hard hitters. These are the things that when you learn this, it's easier for you to, um, you know, to work abroad and learn, these things, and then apply it, abroad. All right. So without further ado, the hard skills, these we call key to greatness. So if you're not yet subscribed to this channel, please do subscribe, like the channel, like the video. I'm sorry, like the video, so that your classmates can see it, and some other people may also see it. And if you are watching this at a later date, please leave a comment if you agree or more or less disagree in some of the points that I raised here, and maybe give us some comments on what next to do, especially for you students. So again, haba ng intro ni Sir George. So master these hard skills now. Yeah, you don't have time. Okay, the essence. Time is of the essence, and the essence is now. All right. So first, let's take a step. Let's take a step back. How many of us really know how to present? Why did I put that as a first slide? First of all, this slide is really a slide that is meant for presentation. But come to think of it, when I saw this, I asked myself, a lot of people really don't know how to present, and it sometimes it spells difference between life and death. Why did I say that? You start entering a company and industry, you start entering a career through one of the most uh, grueling interview, right? One of the most grueling presentation, which is the interview, right? You have to present yourself. There are a series of questions. Sometimes they grill you for for hours, just to know whether you're really saying the truth, or whether you are really prepared for that industry, or whether you are a culture fit in that organization. So the question, how many of us really know how to present, is really important. I remember when I was teaching my daughter Andrea on how to speak English, because now I think she's really proficient. She's 18 years old now, and she's really proficient in speaking English. But I started teaching her to speak English at age 2. I think but by the time that she was born, since the day she was born, I was speaking to her in English. And there was even a time, I don't know, this is psychologically wrong. There was even a time when I said, Andrea, please talk to me in English. If you will not talk to me in English, I will not converse with you. So every time she talks to me, until now, she speaks to me in English. So I told her, if you want to improve the way you speak, you I gave her a phone before, and I told her, record whatever you want to tell daddy or whatever you want to say. Record it, and please try to limit your cuento, your story in under 2 or 3 minutes. So every time she would do that, and then she tries imitating those CNN reporters. And after a few months or so, I saw her doing her own bit of reporting, and she's just, I don't know, 4 or 5 during that time. So I said to myself that really the way to go about it, in order for you not to be camera shy, in order for you not to be stage shy, is to start presenting early on in life. But of course, some of you are already in their 20s, some of you are already in their 30s, but there's still hope. So what do? You record yourself in the camera and then try to present. Just talk to the camera. Just talk to the camera like a regular person. You talk to that person on the other side as if that person is listening to you, because he or she is listening to you. So just pour your heart out. Okay, so at the beginning, maybe you want to speak in straight Tagalog first, and then later on maybe you can speak a little bit in English, because sooner or later you would realize that the international language, the language where everyone else understands you, is English. And it doesn't matter whether you can speak fluently or maybe in a fast pace. There are people who are really good at that, but if you cannot do that yet, just try to present in a slow pace. Just gather your thoughts first. Don't think in 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 Tagalog and then convert it in English. I always tell my students before, think in English, speak in English. All right, so it comes to fruition after years of practice. But start right now. Talk to yourself, talk to the camera, record yourself in the phone, on your phones, and I think you'll be good at it. So don't worry about the words that you're going to say. Maybe in the beginning you will commit a lot of grammar mistakes, but just try to converse regularly to yourself, and answer the most critical questions. This is especially true for those of you who will be interviewed by our Japanese dealers, the dealers from Japan, right? Of course, it will be a little different because they will talk to you in Japanese, in Nihongo. So it'll be a little different, but it's the same. You have to think in Japanese and talk in Japanese. So that's really important. So the first one that you really have to master is the art of presentation. Presentation of yourself, and presentation of your thoughts. So what about these? Number one, there are two things here: information technology and simple programming. These are important. You cannot dismiss this in today's world and say, hindi po ako masyadong techie eh. You cannot do that, because the world wants you to be techie. The world wants you to understand information technology. As we do a deep dive in an IT world, it's an IT dominated world. And then eventually you will have AI. We need to have the skills necessary to operate within those industries in the IT world. Simple programming may also mean, it doesn't have to be hardcore like Python, PHP, or the my during my time HTML coding. uh, Java script or something. I don't know much about all these things, but who knows? You should be able to translate your thoughts and put it in, at least in your website, on the website of your company. There are simple scripts that you have to follow. During my time, I didn't know really. I didn't have formal schooling. During my time, what is the language? Basic and COBOL and Pascal during my time in the 1990s. And HTML coding, I learned it through blogging. I have this blogspot.com before, and I was already in my 30s during those times, or at least late 20s. But I managed to do it. Right now, I do regular YouTube video, and also do some editing in our website in my company. So I think quite the contrary. Some people would say Gen X don't know how to do it. The millennials are tech savvy, but I have a lot of students, who don't know the things that I do. Who don't know half of the things that I do on the internet. So I don't believe that. It's not in the age. I think it's on the focus and concentration. Just remember that we are living in an IT world and eventually in an AI world. So if you don't know how to operate within these norms, 'di ba? Huwag niyo sabihin, don't tell me that you are an automotive technician and eventually you don't need this. No. You still need it. You will still need them because you will still operate within their, I don't know, they have their system there, right? They have inventory system. They have SAP operating there. They have ERP in the dealership, right? And you really have to go through all this. You cannot just you cannot always call the IT guy whenever something is wrong with your computer, or you find it hard to connect in the internet. So these things, simple IT, simple. It's not even programming, systems troubleshooting maybe in CS. Those things you have to know. Next is customer focus skills. Why is this important? Because we are in a customer service age. All right. What differentiates two companies? It's not their advertisement. It's in the customer service. I said it here. What differentiates profitable companies from losing companies? You guessed it right. A good product, yes, but it should be a great customer relations program. And usually, the person who's in charge of customer service are people who don't even have this. There's no degree for customer service. Everybody should have it. You graduated IT, you should have that. You graduated marketing, the more you should have that. You graduated with a degree, communications degree, you should have that. You graduated with an automotive technician degree, you should have that because you will be eventually talking to clients, right? So these are the three customer focus skills that you have to master. Marketing, designing a marketing spill, an activity, or even a whole program. How do you do that? That's a must. In the world of today, everyone is a marketeer, di ba? When we were in lockdown, everybody is going through online selling, right? And that is marketing. You have to learn how to do marketing before you learn how to sell. So there's a difference. Marketing is the process in which the product is presented to the market, to the would-be buyers. Selling is easier, especially if you are good looking. I'm not good looking, that's why I'm into marketing. So selling is usually, pleading, um, telling the other person from the other side, no, luring the other person to buy your products. I'm not good with selling, but I'm learning. But marketing, with a good marketing program, then you can sell, right? So the question here is, do you know how to sell? If not, then you're in big, big, big trouble, right? Okay, what else? So these three are important. Microsoft Office still rocks. Importantly, yes. In the 1990s, it was in the number one, number two position. In the year 2000 and 21st century, it's still in the top position. It's still within the top five, especially the big three. PowerPoint, of course, PowerPoint is just a tool, right? Presentation goes beyond PowerPoint, right? But PowerPoint, Word, that's why it's capitalized. Word is almost always a given already. Um, you don't go through high school and college without knowing how to encode, how to write documents in Word. But I think most important thing there is not the technical know-how of operating within Word, but writing letters, writing orders, writing complaints, answering complaints. Those are important. So it's not really the Microsoft Office per se, but what you write within there. So PowerPoint is important, Word is important, Word is really a given. But number three, this is the most important of it all. If you don't know how, the basic operations of Excel, a lot of my former students would say, I'm good at Excel. How would you rate yourself in Excel? I ask. And then they would say, okay, maybe about 7 or 8 out of 10. Really? Do you know how to do pivot tables? Do you know how to do macro VBS in Excel? Do you know VLOOKUP? And then they will say, sir, three lang pala. So, maybe you thought you know a lot about Excel. But even I myself, I've been using Excel, just like I'm using, my car or I'm using my phone. Excel is a large part of my life, especially I'm a math major. I'm a person who do a lot of analysis. I'm with finance. So Excel is really important. Okay, next. How do you present data? Of course, you know how to present. You know how to present, but how do you present data? So PowerPoint, doing it in PowerPoint, doing it in Prezi, even the presentation skills in PowerPoint, you really have to think through it. You cannot just put words and words upon there. There's even what we call the 20-30 rule. I don't know if you're familiar with that. No PowerPoint, no presentation beyond 20 slides, and the font size should always be above 30. And those are just one of those things, right? There's even the color combination, the way the pictures move from left to right. I was even taught that when I was in LaSalle. And presenting data also in some web-based approaches, right? So how do you present putting it in your website, right? So it's good that you have data, but how do you present the data, right? And then how can you present the data if you did not analyze it first? So analyze it using Excel, and then one of the things that are really making a large buzz in today's world is what we call the business intelligence and the data mining. I put here data mining because there's such a thing as small data and then big data, right? Business intelligence, getting the information and then analyzing those information. And it's not just for me. It's always since I'm with finance, it's always about industry data, the big data, economics, macroeconomics, microeconomics. But then business intelligence here also has something to do with consumer patterns, demand, movement of the population, demographics. So these data, you should be able to mine them at the flick of a hand. You cannot just rely on Business World or Inquirer or Yahoo Finance, which is sometimes 5 years old. You cannot even rely on the data of the government. There's such a thing as the Family Income Expense Survey that comes out every 3 years. So 2006, 2009, 2012, 2015, 2018. I haven't even seen the 2018 version. Maybe it's out there, but I haven't seen it. The last time that I checked was the 2015. It came out in 2017, maybe, or something like that. Maybe I'm wrong, but a lot of my students would follow that, and it's usually 2 years late. So you cannot really rely on the data that we have here. That's why even as a stock market investor or even trader, I get my data from Singapore, from Bloomberg. Imagine, we don't even have it here. So if you are trading, you're relying on data coming from other countries to analyze our very own data. So yun, mahirap talaga. So with the automotive, ang mga analyzing data dyan is, for example, if you become like the business owner, no? And you have your own shop, 'di ba? Yung number of cars, yung how many of the cars are out there, unit in operation, ilan yung how many percent of the people have cars that are 10 years old, that are 15 years old. So, 'di ba, lalo na if you're not a dealer, you're not in casa, 'di ba? Those are your clients. Or sometimes mga 5 years lang, but they don't want to be serviced na sa casa kasi namamahalan sila. So those are your prospective customers, right? And then you should know, for example, the prices, 'di ba? Yung mga presyohan. So how would you be able to, how can you beat the competitor if you don't know the data of the competitor? Sabi nga sa Sun Tzu, Art of War, knowing yourself, your strength, your weakness, and the enemy's strength and weakness. That's the totality of the battle. Knowing yourself and your weakness is 50% of the battle. Knowing your enemy's strength and weakness is another 50% of the battle. So if you add those up, then you have 100% of the time you will always win. So analyzing data is always about winning in the end. So when you present, data needs to be presented, but siyempre, these two matter. Communication, I said this before, writing and then oral communication. Yung oral communication, I already said that in the beginning. If you want to be good at it, practice, practice, practice. Talk to yourself, record yourself in the camera, magbihis ka, you dress up like a professional and then talk to yourself. Answer the question, tingnan mo yung mga questions. Questions usually asked in interviews, right? What are your career goals? How do you see yourself 5 years from now? What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What can you contribute to the company? Why should I hire you instead of them? Those are critical questions and they are usually asked in interviews. So, ilagay mo siya sa index card and then you flip it, whatever. No, don't flip it. Just draw from the deck of index cards and then try to answer them as if you are being asked that question by your panelist. But ang difference lang is you have to record yourself. Every twitch of your face would matter. Every movement of your eye. If your eye is looking to the left or looking to the right, the shrug of your shoulders. Is it shrugging just one side or is it shrugging both sides? Those things do matter, and there are even videos in YouTube talking about those things. But those are important: communication, oral, and also written. I don't know if the noise outside is bothering you. I'm being bothered by them, so I'm sorry if it's you know quite loud, especially if we are in the school. Okay, so next. Dito sa may kanan is the images. Sorry, hindi ko pala nababasa ng buo. Okay. So on the right side, nangyari. Sorry guys, sorry guys. Imagine mo na log out ko yung sarili ko. Sorry. Okay. So, sorry about that. Naku, papanoorin niyo pa naman 'to, makikita niyo yung maling yan. So anyway, I was saying about the communication side and then eventually the data side, yung images. So yung images is, siyempre nagpe-present ka ng data, you're presenting your data, and of course, communication, oral communication matters, and also written, because usually may script yan eh. So if you don't know how to write your own script, o kaya naman if you don't know how to write letters, etc., medyo problem yun. That's problematic. So you also have to have a good command of the web, mga social media skills. Paano yan? Of course, marketing yan eh. If you're doing marketing, you're doing the social media marketing. Yan pati ngayon, that's very important ha. Uh, Dapat meron kang ganong skills, the way you interact with your customers, paano mag-operate ng Facebook page. Even if you are not into that, practicein nyo na yon. Try to practice that. Kahit yung mga simple personal page nyo muna. O kaya, if you have a business of your own, operate nyo na yon. Kasi you're competing against uh, people who are paid to do that. Eh, ikaw hindi ka naman paid. So, in the morning, when you open your eyes, you maybe up to the time you sleep, sasabihin mo sa sarili mo, ay, wala akong na-post ngayon sa page ko. O, di ba, practicein nyo na yon. Because if you do that a lot, if you do that often, i-compare nyo yung sarili nyo even with the Facebook pages of companies, you will come out stronger than them. So ako ganun ang ginagawa ko I compete with, for example, pag schools, even yung mga pages ng mga schools, nakikipag-compete ako dyan, yung mga new ano nila, new content nila, how many posts nila every day, how many new subscribers or how many new followers, yung reach, yan. All those things are important. Okay. So sa images, di ba nakalagay dito yung mahanap ako ng space na hindi masyadong maingay. So photography. O syempre, kukuha ng mga pictures. So sabihin mo, sir, ano po ako eh. Nagme-mekaniko ko, hindi ko kailangan yan. Later on, pag mayroon ka ng business, malalaman mo, hindi mo kailangang i-hire pa yan sa labas. You don't need to hire people just to do those things for you. Kailangan you should be able to do it by yourself. So ako, I'm not that good, in photography, but I know something about the mga rule of thirds. At least man lang yung mga ganun, yung mga rule of odds. Dapat alam mo yun. Oo. Hindi mo kailangan naka-SLR ka lagi because our phones naman already have those SLR type qualities, yung mga focus, aperture, yung Huawei nga, di ba? Kahit yung mga zoom na malalayo, kaya niyang gawin yan. O kaya pag, basta marami ng mga skills ngayon na kaya mo nang gawin because DIY na ngayon. So photography, video presentation, you should be able to do that. Editing skills, eventually, or for example, you're going to get married. O kaya naman, pag may asawa ka na, yung anak mo eventually, magde-debut, whatever, mag-hire ka pa ng videographer just for that. Kaya mo nang gawin yan. Right? So, tingnan nyo yung matitipid mo by doing that. O, meron kang business. Right? Mag-hire ka pa ng marketing guy just to shoot yung video ng mo. Maghanap kayo ng mga free seminar, webinar. Kami, nag-offer din kami niyan, no? Yung mga iPhone photography. O kaya kahit naman di iPhone, Android lang, maganda din naman. Right up lang ang kailangan. Yung, ibig sabihin yung tamang application. So, video presentation, editing skills. So, ako, I do my editing. Ito, syempre, hindi to edited because, live natin itong ginagawa ko. Yung mga hindi i-edit. But editing skills, using Filmora. Ako, Filmora personally, ginagamit ko. I also used Adobe Premiere, although masyadong malaki kasi yung needed na memory, kaya namin nakabukas sa aking laptop, so hindi ko na siya ginagamit masyado. Ano pa? Yun, yung kahit nga yung mga KineMaster ba yung KineMaster? Wala, KineMaster. Sa phone naman, yung Viva Video, yun ang ginagamit ko. Ang bilis lang mag-edit. Of course, may mga bayad yun. But may mga, naman yan, may mga free version na pwede mong gamitin. May mga, may mga watermark. So yun, dapat marunong kayong mag-edit. Magaling kayo mag-edit ng video. And then social media skills, as I said, posting ng tamang, article, tamang picture, 'Di ba? Tingnan nyo, even yung mga colors, yung ganyan, makikita mo, the way you post, tingnan mo, yung mga likes na nakukuha mo or something sa Instagram. How many of you have your own Instagram, Twitter, Facebook? Siyempre, sigurado meron na kayo niyan. Pero yung ibang mga applications, mga social media sites, gamitin nyo din yon. Ano pa ba mga nandyan? Dati, Tumblr, wala na ngayon masyadong gumagamit nun. Ayun, no? Yung iba, TikTok, ginagamit yung TikTok, di ba? So, sayaw-sayaw, no? Pero, I think ngayon, nag-emerge na ang TikTok into, nag-develop yun into some, different kind of thing. Tapos, pag nabili pa yan ng, ba bumibili sa TikTok? Microsoft ba? Anyway, whatever, no? So, pag na-integrate into other app, like Instagram, di ba? Nabili ng Facebook. So, Instagram, nagkakaroon na ng mga IG. So, yan. Yun, no? So, ang daming mapag-aaralan. So, those things are important. Pag may business ka, instead of paying at people, hindi naman nakukuha yung idea mo talaga, yung color, yung ganyan, ikaw na mag-eksperimento. So, nakakatuwa din yun na ikaw ang gumagawa ng sarili mo, mga ganyan. Okay? As I said, social media skills also matters. Okay? Malapit na to. Social media skills, syempre, alam nyo, ang digital marketing or social media marketing level the playing field between the big and the small players. Right now, mapapansin nyo, even yung mga, as I said, no, mga lalaking players, tinatalo sila ng mga smaller players just because of social media and digital marketing. Meron nga mga batang maliliit lang no, sa Facebook. Imagine mo makinikita ng mga yan. I-compare mo sa mga malaking mga channel na libo-libo ang kanilang pinapasweldo. Samantalang yun, wala. Diba? Imagine. So, social media, really, digital marketing, YouTube, Google, AdSense, diba? These level the playing field between the big and the small players. So, that is why it is really important. So, dapat isa sa mga skills na matutunan niya. Malapit na matapos, no? Planning the document and documenting the plan. So, plan the document the plan. So, yung isa is documenting the strategy. Alam nyo, yung documentation is a key skill. A lot of people don't know how to document. Ang daming marunong may idea, ganyan, nag-usapan. Sabi, gumawa kayo ng minutes. Wala nakagawa. Nobody knows how to do it. Ang Pilipino mahilig sa gano'n, no? Maraming ideas, whatever. However, hindi na document. So, sa ISO culture, in ISO culture, if you do it, you have to document it. If it's not documented, it does not exist. It does not exist. So, di ba? May idea ka, hindi mo sinulat. May nakarinig ng idea mo, sinulat niya, ipinapatent niya, no? Nagkaroon na siya ng copyright. Siya ngayon nagkikita dahil doon, hindi ikaw. Because in the eyes of the law, he is the owner of that idea, not you. Kasi hindi mo din-document So, document your strategy, document your idea. And then, syempre, of course, project management. Ano yung project management? I'm sure a lot of you may have not heard about it. Ang project management, pag pumunta na kayo sa isang company o kayo mismo, like starting your own company, starting a marketing plan or a marketing project, planning for the debut of your children, of your child, wedding, yun. Lahat yun pwedeng lagyan ng project management. Project management is o kaya sa government yung pagpapatayo ng mga tulay, pagpapatayo ng mga building. Yun, project management kailangan yan. When does it start? When does it end? Ano yung mga key spaces in between? Ano yung mga milestone? When does it happen? First milestone, what happens? Okay? So, and then finally, ano yung cost to produce that? Ano yung mga key path, no? Yung mga tipong na critical path method. Ano yung path na kailangan mangyari para magawa yung project? So all those things have to be put in the project management. Merong sa Microsoft niyan, ang tawag Microsoft Project. Kung wala naman kayo doon, kahit sa Excel kaya nang gawin yan. Yan being able to do a project management documentation is what separates between an average supervisor and a great manager. Marami sa company, sa industry na hindi marunong gumawa ng project management. O kaya marunong gumawa ng project management, ang problema, hindi na fulfill yung nakaplano. Okay. Dito sa amin sa TMP Tech, ang isa sa mga pinakamagaling gumawa ng project management si Ma'am Olive. Oo. Kasi siya yung naging planning officer yan ng TMP. Okay, other important skills, I think towards the end na to. So number one is language. There are about siguro mga 5 to 6 languages that you, at least you should know. You should know. Kasi well-spoken sa buong mundo. Okay? Number one. Number one is of course English. No, I think 1.5 to 2 billion people would easily be, be able to speak it. Number one is English, ha? Number two is Mandarin. Okay? Hindi ko naman sinasabi na mag-aral na kayo ng Chinese, but like it or not, ang daming Chinese. 'Di ba? So, wala kang choice kundi matutunan yan. So, Mandarin is also, kailangan, isa sa mga bagay na dapat mong pag-aralan. Number two, Mandarin. Number three, Arabic, dahil ang daming Arabic countries, no? Yung mga Islamic countries, they know how to speak Arabic, so dapat marunong ka niyan. Number four is Spanish. Madali lang sa atin Spanish kasi a lot of our key terms are in Spanish. Calle, okay? Spanish, ang dami sa atin. Even our names, Atento, De La Cruz, Sanchez, puro mga Spanish yan eh. So yun, no? Ano sabi ko? English, Mandarin, Spanish, Arabic, right? Fifth is Japanese, Nihongo. Kahit maliit lang, ang Japan is isang country lang, no? But Japanese or Nihongo is the language of manufacturing. Halos lahat ng mga manufacturing companies merong branch sa Japan, and that is why pag-aral ng Nihongo is also one great idea. One idea na talagang dapat matutunan natin. Ano pa? There used to be a time ang French is a big thing, no? Ngayon medyo dwindle na, but French can also still be learned. There are still countries that are learning how to or speaking that language, pero hindi masyado na eh. Korean, hindi, joke lang. Parang gusto mo punta sa mga K-pop culture, but anyway, yun, at least yun, no? Eventually, ang India will be a huge part of the business world. Kaso ang daming languages sa India, di ba? So, Hindi. No? Walang ano yan eh. At least yung basic. Meron bang Indian language? Basta, kasi nag-English naman sila eh. So, parang hindi masyadong ganun critical. German, kasi may manufacturing, engineering in Germany. At least yung mga European, yung mga Germanic countries sa Europe. Pero at least yung 5 na sinabi ko, no? Kasi ang Portuguese aligned din with Spanish, so parang medyo kakaintindihan na kayo, no? So again, English, Mandarin, syempre, Mandarin, no? Nihongo, Arabic, Spanish. O yan, yung 5 na yan would be, at least alam mo yung dalawa doon sa anong yun, no? English sigurado alam nyo na yan, no? At least one more. So sa automotive, kailangan marunong kayo Japanese eh, Nihongo. Importante yan. Ang next dyan nakalagay is medical skills. Ang medical skills, kahit ano pang sabihin mo, all over the world, talagang skill yan. At talagang mahirap yan pag-aralan. Doon sa mga nakikita kong website, usually ang mga nando doon na caregiving, nursing, these skills are highly in demand in today's marketplace. Tapos sa medtech, yung phlebotomy, no? Merong phlebotomy pa ba sa TESDA? But at least, yun ang mga skills na kailangan natin. Pero yung caregiving, no? Caregiving, meron yan sa phlebotomy, meron sa TESDA, phlebotomy, nursing, yan. Yan ang mga importante. And then may mga highly technical skills wherein ando doon ng automotive skills, electrical, yan painting, body repair, andyan yan, mga highly technical skills. Engineering, pero you need the whole engineering degree to do that. Tapos ito pa, forklift operations, heavy equipment operations. Ang forklift, napakahirap na skill na matutunan yan. And it's hard to get in the industry. It's hard to get. Pag nasa industry ka, ang hirap matutunan nun. Ang hirap makakuha ng tao na marunong sa forklift. O kaya may NC ng forklift operations. Ayan. Yun. So those are the other important skills. So yan, you got this. Oh, you got this. So this is the final slide. So I just hope that you um, learn something from this presentation. I really believe na these skills do matter. Lalo na for a person who just graduated, no? O kaya naman nagsimula pala ng career. So maybe I missed one or two. So if you're watching this, maybe you can leave a comment or two. Should I maybe I missed, one or two skills, or mag-leave ka ng comment there if you agree or not in the things that I included here. So those are the skills for me that are most in demand na linya dun sa hard skills. Although again, depende talaga to sa industry na ginagalawan mo. Of course, sa automotive, ang dami pa dyan. Inventory, warranty, ang dami pa talaga, lalo na in a highly technical industry. Pero if you are, kasi lalo na, no, if a person who's listening right now is a graduate from college and like, management graduate ka, you don't know a lot about all these things, napunta ka sa automotive na field, how do you know how this industry works, 'di ba? So kailangan pag-aralan mo maigi 'yon, no? Sa business kasi, ang highly talaga na technical diyan, finance, accounting, no? Taxation. Sa amin, sa investment, finance modeling, financial modeling, those are highly technical, but hindi mo naman yun isusubo ang sarili mo doon pag hindi mo pa talaga ready. 'Di ba? So, kailangan talaga pag-aralan mo siyang maigi, right? So, yun lang guys. So, I hope that you learned a lot from this presentation. This was not presented to you live, so I am going to put it in a public mode, no? Nasa private pa lang siya ngayon or unlisted. I will put it in public uh, at 11 a.m. Okay, by the time you will see this live. All right, thank you very much. God bless you. Stay safe. See you again either tomorrow or baka mamaya. Hopefully I can shoot another video later on. Kasi kailangan ko pa isa eh. Kasi fourth na ngayon. Fifth na ba ngayon? Yeah, fifth. Tama ba? Fifth na ba ngayon? Yes. Part 5 na ba to? Yeah. Okay. So, yun. Hopefully you can see this. At sana hindi naman magka-problema ang ating connection para mapanood siya ng maayos. All right, guys. So, thank you very much. God bless you. Have a hearty lunch. Hopefully, you'll be able to learn from this. Good luck sa lahat, and God bless you all. Thank you very much.